Hello, guys. Welcome to the Geeky Ones, episode 110. So, I'm Jude. Below me is Steven, and
Hello.
today we have a guest, which is Kevin from Elitistang Weibo podcast. So, Kevin, say hi to everyone here.
Yun, hello mga dudes tsaka mga dadettes. Kevin nga pala, yun. Still here at the Justice Open Studios para sa guesting na to. Hello.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, episode 110 is all about. We're gonna talk about how we watch Gundam from TV, from like watching it on TV on GMA here in the Philippines, for Toonami across much of the world, and then now it's on a lot of streaming platforms, YouTube, Netflix, Hulu. So we'll talk about how we first watched Gundam before. You know how our many attempts on finding different Gundam series back then when a lot of stuff is so hard to find, especially the early 90s and 80s shows. Okay. But yeah, that's what we're gonna start with. And yeah, we're just gonna talk out all those things and just how fun it is. And then later, by the end of the episode, we'll talk about some awesome Gundam projects in 2022.
Okay.
Okay. Now, our very first question, I think we asked this like this is the third time we're asking this question in a Gundam episode. And we have like 5 Gundam episodes, Steven, so that's fun.
Hmm.
Okay. The question is, what was your first Gundam series and where did you watch it? So Kevin, since you're the guest of our episode, we would love to have you the honor of answering the question first.
Sure. Thank you for the question. So, back then, elementary pa ako neto sa probinsya ako neto. So, yung klase namin was like we have a morning shift and an afternoon shift. So, like the whole day nasa school lang kami. Then, pag PM, may plug ceremony kami pero hindi na ako nag-a-attend doon kasi tumatakas na kami. Doon kami lumulusot sa may garden ng school. Tapos may pinupuntahan kaming bahay. May pinupuntahan kaming bahay of one of my classmates. Tapos doon lang kami nagtitipon, kaming mga magkakaklase. Tapos manunood lang kami ng ano. Ang pinapalabas pa noon was Daimos, Ultraman Tiga,
Daimos.
and Gundam G. Gundam G was my
Mhm.
first Gundam. It was on GMA 7.
Nice, nice. But
So,
yeah,
yun.
awesome. The GMA was fun. There's so many series of GMA that was there were at least I remember there were 3. But yeah, it's interesting that G was your first.
Ayun nga, patos, parang naano ko pa siya. Natuwa talaga ako sa kanya kasi yun, unang mapapalabas, Ultraman, so they have martial arts monsters and buildings being destroyed. Pagdating ng Daimos, another series na uses martial arts, karate, then chopping, uppercutting the enemy in half. Then after that was my hand is burning red. So parang parang team yung afternoon na yon of just robots that punching other robots.
Yeah, parang monster of the week using martial arts robot. So that was actually cool. But yeah, it's interesting to see I haven't heard that many people say na G Gundam was their first series, but to be fair, that was my second. First one was Gundam Wing. So sige, I'll answer the question as well. I watched Gundam Wing on GMA 7. The order of appearance for Gundam on GMA was they first broadcasted Wing, then G, and lastly, people forget na X was on GMA. Gundam X was on GMA.
Yes,
So
Gundam X.
one of the best, one of the most underrated, probably the most underrated series, just because it got canceled. It got cut to from 49 to 39. But yeah, I watched Gundam Wing. I think I remember as a kid. I don't remember too many childhood memories, but yeah, the one memory is like I think I first saw the Gundam Heavy Arms. That's the first Gundam I saw, the Heavy Arms, which
Ooh.
ironically I don't have a model kit of or any form of Gundam model or action figure, which is funny. But yeah, Gundam Wing was my first one on GMA, and then eventually I was looking for more Gundam, and GMA just provided more in the span of like 2 years, at least 2 years, or
Hmm.
at least a year and a half. Yeah. Um, so it was like 50 episodes in. So that was kind of cool. Diba? Sunod-sunod siya. Like, yeah, let's go. I was introduced to the
True.
likes of the Gundam, the Wing Gundam, the Heavy Arms, and then later on G Gundam, Gundam Rose, Bolt, Dragon, Maxter. So it's cool. Then you see and then by Gundam X, there's not that many Gundams. You just have the Gundam X and Double X that just destroys everyone with a satellite cannon from the moon. So it's kind of cool. So yeah, those were my first Gundam series, and yeah, GMA was it was a fun time for GMA before because they had so many great anime series. They were our Netflix before. But yeah,
True.
Totoo. 'Di
so
ba
Steve,
naging ano pa nga nila?
mhm,
Sorry. Just gonna add
go
on to
ahead.
that. Remember their tagline, 'di ba? We are anime. So talagang inano nila, in-embody nila
Yeah,
yung pagiging anime na ano.
Totoo yun. My gosh.
yun.
Okay.
Yeah, GMA kasi was on a mission talaga to just provide everyone with anime. It was fun. It was worth the
Hmm.
So we were
True.
exposed to so many good things. Kahit yung Sunday, di ba they had Sunday
Sunday
movies?
morning anime? Oh my gosh.
No, so
Oh my
Sunday
god.
night, they were showing anime movies sa Sunday night
Yes!
before they showed
Yes,
other
yes, I
movies.
remember
So that was
this.
cool. But
Yeah.
then Steven, yeah, and to
Okay.
your turn to answer the question.
My first Gundam series, like many people, was Gundam Wing.
Mhm.
Kasi, yun nga, parang kay Kev, mga 4 p.m., pag uwi ko ng bahay, usually Gundam Wing was on TV. Tapos, sobrang, baka nga kasi I was a child, so my memory was like, still of Hiro Yui doing his pose in the intro, doing this, like blocking his hand a little bit to look
Oh
edgy.
well, that's iconic
Edgy
kasi you'll
emo
see it
boy.
every episode. At
Yes,
least
exactly.
half of the series.
Oo, parang palagi lang siya nakaganyan. Um, it was my first series, tapos it sort of helped na Japanophile ang ate ko. One of my sisters is a huge Japanophile. Like, she dresses up like a Japanese girl. Most people think she's Japanese, but she's Chinese. Like, she even dyes her hair in the Japanese style and everything. Like, everything. She's so influenced by Japanese. She loves Japanese food. And at the time, I think Makati Cinema Square had a Japanese store. Nagbebenta sila ng mga magazine, ng mga manga, mga ganun. Um, adult stuff for those who are interested. Ano, may nabili siya mga new type magazine nung time na yun. Eh, ang
Oh
hirap pa
God,
mag-import ng new type magazine nung
I
time
know
na yun, di ba?
that was one thing na I could never find. I could
Mm-mm.
if you would find it, ang mahal niya. It's so expensive.
Yes.
Ano yan, I think if you compare to like gaming magazines, which are
Uh,
like from 150 to 500,
mm-mm.
some new type magazines can go upwards ng I think even now like 600 to
Grabe, no?
1K. Kasi
Yeah.
they're they don't come by often. Tapos
Mm-mm.
their content's really great.
Yeah. So, like, speaking of that, either yung nag-travel kami abroad to places where mas accessible ang Gundam. So, like, East Asian countries, mga ganun.
Mm-hmm.
Baka punta kami ng the Sogo department store. Palagi sila may Gundam magazine dati in the early 2000s, mga ganun. So, medyo nag-grow yung interest ko sa Gundam from there. Pero hindi ako like super duper fan. Mas super fan ng kapatid ko.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my first exposure was Gundam Wing on GMA, and then it was around the same time as mga Flame of Recca on GMA, Fushigi
Ghost Fighter.
Yugi, or
Ooh.
Evangelion on ABS-CBN.
ABS.
And I think at the time they
Yeah.
were still calling it Evangelion kasi hindi pa may napansin akong trend pala sa ABS is that sometimes the voice acting is on such a uh, strict time pressure. So paminsan hindi nila nalalaman yung pronunciation until like halfway through. Parang yung nangyari sa Ghost Fighter, 'di ba? 'Di ba yung may isang character nga akala natin babae, lalaki pala. Tapos I
Si,
think the cast had
si
to adjust to
Denise.
that. Yeah, mga ganun, 'di ba? Yung akala na ng lalaki babae tapos lalaki pala or like baliktad, mga ganun. Parang voice actors or on such time pressure yung time na yun to finish recording kasi nga 'di ba
Yeah.
every week may bagong episode. Paminsan wala na silang time to like look further into the newer episodes to see. But yun. Sorry, nag-rant out na ako. Gundam Wing GMA.
Yeah, but also cool. Come to think of it now, anime voice dubbers here in the Philippines, and they had so
Oo.
many opportunities. Ang dami nilang gig at
Si Mr. Satan nasa Asia Pop Comic Con pa dati eh.
diba?
Noong 2019.
They had great gigs until like from the 90s, 2000s. Sunod-sunod yung anime nila. I think until
Oo.
now naman eh. And then, even yung like Korean, Chinese, Japanese na mga drama.
Yes,
God, they're
true.
dubbing that. Of course, pati yung mga Spanish language telenovelas, those were cool. Ayun. But yeah, first Gundam series, yeah. Wing and G. So it's either of the two. It's either of the two or three.
Mm.
If you're a bit of an older fan, maybe Zeta, maybe the very first Mobile Suit Gundam, or for some people, 8MS Team, which is so niche na as a first series, which is kind of although also very cool as a first series because 8MS Team is one of the best Gundam anime there.
Yeah.
Until now.
Totoo.
And if there's one thing about an 8MS Team, holy crap, the animation is just perfect. But yeah. Okay, now after we watched our first Gundam series, now we talked about our other stuff. But after our initial first few shows, how else did we discover more Gundam series? Like some of them aren't on TV. Some of them aren't even mentioned on a lot of places except for certain magazines. But yeah, how else did you watch Gundam? So, whether it be official or unofficial, I guess we'll just dub the unofficial as rated R for you know for the high seas. Anyway, but
Yes.
I think we'll start with Kevin on it. Yeah, how else did you discover more Gundam series and how did you watch them? For Discover More, you could just say where like did you see any magazine or media with Gundam na oh yeah, I wanna watch this. And for watching, how else?
How else? Okay. So yun nga, we have of course the seven have like the three classics from the 90s, G Wing and X. I think the early 2000s ABS-CBN has shown Gundam Seed and Seed Destiny. You remember
Yes.
seeing those?
Oh, yeah.
Yun, so yun, ABS have gone into the Gundam game as well. Pero yun lang, it's the seed era na. And yun, doon natin nakilala yung ang ating Lord and Savior, Jesus Yamato.
Oh God, the
And
immortal.
the immortal Jesus Yamato. So, yun. Pero medyo nag-wing ko sa Gundam back then eh. Pero I still like Gundam pagdating ng Seed. Pero I think Seed was like too mainstream. Masyadong gwapo yung bida. Yung Gundam is like puro beam spam. So, sa dami ng weapons. And, ayun, I scour yung mga suki nating tindahan kasi back in high school malapit kami sa palengke yung high school namin, so makatabing tindahan yan ng mga DVDs, mga rated R DVD, both figuratively and literally. So they have this kasi may ibang mga medyo mapili pa ako pag bumibili ako ng DVDs kasi ayoko yung nakakarton lang tapos nakaandun sa loob yung CD. There are some na nagtitinda, naka-case, na parang akala mo PS2 game. Tapos nag-effort sila dun sa balot, kasi naka-plastic yung balot, tapos yung pinrint nila na visuals nung visuals nung palabas or nung anime is like high quality. Tapos kahit nonsense nakalagay sa likod. But back then, parang 3 yata yung binili kong ganun. Nakabili ako ng Victory Gundam, English dub ng G Gundam, at Turn A.
Oh,
So, So gamit na gamit yung DVD namin every weekends. Kaya every weekends yun lang yung pinanood ko ng paulit-ulit. Tapos hanggang sa nawala na yung shop na yun, medyo nalungkot pa ako na wala yung shop na yun kasi yung mga natira na lang is yung mga tindahan ng DVD na hindi maganda yung yung sobrang fake nung pagkaka-photoshop ng mga Gundam. Yung picture RX-78-2 pero yung title Gundam Seed, mga ganun.
Oh
So,
yeah. Super dami. Or yung Gundam Seed pero double O yung nakalagay sa front. So, yun yung fun.
so yun, nakakalo talaga. Or yun, mga ganun yung naging ko. Kasi sobrang hindi pa reliable ng internet noon. I think 3 Mbps tapos dial up. So someone uses the landline, hindi ka na makakapag-internet. So you cannot use the internet pag may gagamit ng phone. So yun, gamit na gamit yung DVD player namin sa bahay because of that. Then after that, yun, medyo bumilis yung internet, naglabasan na yung mga yung mga streaming sites like YouTube and some early Crunchyroll nung pirate pa sila. Doon na ako nakapanood ng ibang Gundams like 8MS Team, Double O. Doon ko unang pinanood ng Double O and Gundam Age. Before napunta yung Double O sa TV5. So, doon ako lalong naging in tune with the Gundams. Tapos yun, I learned about the toys. Sinusundan ko na yung balita from the toys sa iba't ibang mga blog sites. Tapos tumitingin na ako sa mga toy shops kung saan may toys. Then yun, I've been into the rabbit hole.
Okay, nice.
Nice.
So, Steven, on your end, how did you discover more Gundam and how did you try and watch? Same question.
Siguro you could say na swerte kami na may cable kami ng time na yon. So, around the same time na lumabas yung Gundam Wing sa GMA, may rin kami, may Cartoon Network kami noon. Tapos yung Cartoon Network around 2000, 2001, mga ganun. Medyo dumadami na yung mga, nag-ramp up na yung mga series ng mga Gundam na pinapakita sa TV. So I think around kailan ulit yung Seed and Seed Destiny was around 2001, tama ba?
Seed was 02, Seed Destiny was 04, but I think yung broadcast here was like 2004, 2005,
Yeah, around that
2006.
time. Yeah.
That time.
So I think around 2001, 2002, Gundam Wing was still playing on Toonami. Tapos English dub pa siya. Tapos yung sa GMA at the time, it was already Gundam X, sa alam ko. Tapos, luckily, yung ate ko, she's very high-tech. And yun nga, yung Japanophile kong ate, discovered the high seas. Let's just say that. Diyan namin na-discover ang Gundam Seed, Seed Destiny. Totoo yung sinasabi ni Kevin about Jesus Kira Yamato, the never can be killed. Like even Amuro Ray was supposedly killed, and yet Kira Yamato is still alive. Like how the fuck is he still alive?
There only like there's only like one or two more protagonists that can try and that could have tried.
Hiro Yui probably, I don't know. But like hindi, I mean like imagine kahit yung bida ng Iron-Blooded Orphans died, 'di ba? Anyway, yun, for the longest time hanggang torrent lang kami. And then over the years, Jude kind of reintroduced me to Gundam over the years. Tapos na-mention niya nga na Sunrise decided na, hey, let's not do the old Japanese style of like limiting everything to Japan
Exclusive
only.
broadcasts to their own
Yeah,
channels.
Diba? Like, huwag na natin broadcast sa TV Tokyo lang. Let's expand our horizons. Unlike a certain new Japanese wrestling company, you know, they don't do DDTs. They do not have Tokyo princesses. You know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Sobrang strict nila with copyright. But yan, so the likes of Tsuburaya Productions, the creators of Ultraman, and Sunrise, creators of Gundam, decided, alam mo, let's just share it online. Let's just put a bunch of region blocks depending on the area.
Best part is like giving
Everything
us the weekly habit of waiting for an episode.
Exactly, di ba? Yung parang you're not gonna do a Netflix style drop. you do a weekly drop. Like yung, di ba, what was the last series we followed together, Jude, sa YouTube, di ba, was Build Divers.
Build
Di ba?
divers.
We were watching that like every few weeks. Di ba? It was not bad. Tsaka, it was nice kasi nga, walang region block. You can watch it on your own time.
Oh yeah,
And
best
yun nga,
part is they had subtitles for multiple languages, especially
yes,
for the
totoo
Yes.
Southeast
yun.
Asian
Sa
ones.
Tagalog.
So
Yes, ang daming subtitles
best
for
part.
everything.
So there were at least parang 10, at least 10.
In
I know
languages,
there's
diba?
I know there's more kasi
Yeah.
they sometimes split. There's a version that has English, English Chinese
Mm-mm.
subtitles, and
Yeah.
then there's the Indonesian Korean on the other video. So
Mm-mm.
they had so many options there.
Yeah. So like yun nga, that's how my viewing evolved from TV to cable to torrents to,
Mhm.
well, the best way, honestly, the best method for me, just distribute it for free, man. I mean, look at Ultraman. Ultraman has suddenly started thriving again because you can watch his
True,
latest
true.
TV for free on YouTube for free. No big deal. Super Sentai,
For free for
good
2
luck.
weeks.
Oo, di ba? 2-week delay lang. Like, good luck. Good luck with Super
To be
Sentai. And
fair,
yet, yun,
Gundam
anyway.
also got that resurgence when they broadcasted Build
G-
Fighters. Because
Yes,
Ay,
everyone was
true.
Fighters.
watching that.
Huge.
Everyone was buying the model kits. And then I
Mm.
think Gundam Unicorn was in cinema. The last few episodes of Gundam Unicorn was on cinema. So it was like a resurgence of people buying more Gundam model kits, me included. So now there's
Mm.
like a nice little shelf of boxes here.
Nice.
But then, yeah, that's how we discovered Gundam. But yeah, okay, my turn. After Wing GNX, I was watching Seed and Seed Destiny. So I had 5 Gundam series under my belt. So that was kind of cool, diba? The problem is I didn't have any Universal Century Gundam shows on my belt, diba? 5 of them were alternate universe Gundams.
Mm.
So as much as some of them are really good. GX and the first seed, I'll attest to that they're really great for as a beginner Gundam show. Uh, I didn't have a Universal Century show, so I didn't watch the original Gundam series all the way up to Victory, any of the UC timeline. So I discovered that timeline exists when I was reading K Zone. Like K-Zone
Oh.
had a
Mm.
timeline of Gundam. Like I think it was 20th anniversary or parang 25th.
Mm.
That's why they had like a feature on K-Zone. But yeah, it was really good kasi I got to know the many different things about Gundam. One of those was like best Gundam fights. So I got to find out the battles between like the Universal Century characters. So it was so
Mm.
cool. And then eventually that got me curious and wanting more Gundam. So like, where can I find this? Where can I find my Gundam shows? And then my answer was no. My answer was a little place called Ruins here, which recently closed down sadly. But
Sad.
then it was a hub for it was a hub for a lot of anime things and video game things, and it had every geeky thing. It had Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Gundam kits. It had video games. It had trading cards. So it was everything there. Whether it be an official or quote unquote non-official. So different options. But yeah, it was so good. Yeah, eventually I got some of those DVDs, yung mga misprinted DVDs, heavily mistranslated ones that Kevin mentioned just a while ago. Super cringy. Looking back, look how. Uh, but yeah, those were the times, and I watched Zeta Gundam first before the very first Gundam series.
Ooh,
I binged
heavy,
that for
man.
like 2 weeks straight. I binged that for 2 weeks straight. It was fun. Because I was exposed to the video game that
Mhm.
featured Zeta Gundam. So like I want to know more. I want to watch the series because the game was so compelling. And then I was in high school. I was absent for 2 weeks. I think I had chicken pox, so all I had to do was watch Gundam in my room and then enjoy. And after that, I watched the first Gundam series. I've watched half of Victory. I less than half of Victory before I moved on to other things, like watching other things. I think I was into music back then, diba? I was into music, so like I kind of stopped, and then eventually I got back because I was randomly researching Gundam, and all of a sudden, YouTube has official streams of Gundam Unicorn, all all
Ah,
six
yeah.
episodes
The
before
the,
the
the
final before
OVA,
they yeah before the final episode was gonna be released that same year. And then there's Gundam Build Fighters at the same time, so I was binging that up by the end of college. So that's how I got back. And yeah, that's how my Gundam journey went from unofficial to quite to very official. And
Mm.
that's it. After that, after our next thing is random question, kind of a niche question, since I don't think everyone watches Gundam this way. But
Mhm.
my question is, were some of you guys able to watch Gundam on cinema
Hmm.
at least? So we'll start with Kevin. So Kevin, were you able to watch any Gundam movie in the cinema?
I was planning to. I think SM had the Unicorn OVAs available back then.
Yeah, I think.
However, yun, I I think I don't have the time that yet because call center and
Yeah.
time is
Ah.
of the essence. I'm work.
Mm.
So yeah, I just all my Gundam movies were just through my browser or through my phone.
Rated
Nice.
R or official and
There
official.
are.
Official na. Official na
Rated
ngayon.
R and official. To be fair, this week Gundam for this month they're releasing Gundam movies. They're streaming Gundam movies for free for
Yeah,
a
the
couple of weeks. So
compilation movies, I guess, right?
yeah, much of the compilation movies, the Gundam Double O movie, and yeah, I think most of that covers most of it. But yeah, okay, Gundam in cinema. So Steven, were you able to watch any Gundam on cinema?
Hmm. Not yet. Not yet. Parang feeling ko my fandom for Gundam isn't as like deep enough to the point na gusto kong manood sa cinema. Kasi I don't know, parang maybe it's just me. Parang I'd say mas casual Gundam fan ako. Like I know a bit about, the story, the lore of the Universal Century, pero hindi ako sobrang familiar with everything. Like I think si Tim Villasor, yung friend natin, would probably be more familiar with Gundam
Mm-hmm.
and like probably watching the cinema. I mean,
Okay.
he probably gets perks to get to watch in
Uh,
cinema. I don't know.
okay. So for my cinema experience, I've watched two on cinema. So I've watched the first episode of was that Gundam Origin,
Mm.
Mm.
the very first Gundam Origin episode, and Gundam Narrative, the sequel to Unicorn in universe. Yeah,
Ooh.
the sequel, the well, not really a sequel, but a follow up to Unicorn, same timeline, just after. Um, yeah, it was fun. It was a fun experience. I think especially narrative, because narrative was like a full movie, and I was watching it like officially on the big screen, so it was fun.
Nice.
I think I watched it
Nice.
SM South Mall. I watched Origin on Mega Mall, so we got to go around Mega Mall a bit, so that was fun. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool to watch on cinema because you get to see. I think when watching Origin, some of the fans watching, they were shocked to see. They were surprised to see a couple of characters. Like, I think some people let out noise when they saw Rambaral, younger Rambaral in Origin. So
Younger Amaral.
that was really awesome. So yeah, I like the cinematic experience. I'm not sure. I can't remember the other merch that were tied to it, but sometimes there's exclusive model kits. Not sure
Mm.
if they released it here, and there are other merch. There's other merch that you can get. But yeah, watching Gundam on the cinema like allows you to get those other stuff on events.
Mm.
So yeah, now we touched this upon the streaming era. So what was the first stream you guys watch? Mine would be Build Fighters. Yeah, mine would be Gundam Unicorn pala. So yeah, and Kevin, what was your first official stream? Let's make this quick.
Yeah, actually, my first was Build Fighters Try. So
Oh,
I
okay.
Oh.
watched Build Fighters Try, then I watched Build Fighters. So,
Nice.
yan.
I mean, to be fair, you wouldn't, I don't know, you wouldn't lose too much. Like, you wouldn't be
Yeah, true.
confused that much for if you watch Try first, then Build Fighters. They're supposed to be connected, but there's not much, like, lore follow-ups aren't that big compared. But yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
Steven, what was the first official stream you watched?
The first official stream I watched was probably season 2 of Iron Blooded Orphans because I was just randomly watching on YouTube. I'm like, oh
Ooh.
damn, that's like shit. That's like the most real Gundam series ever. By the way, shout out to FNC Mind on Twitch saying I cry watching Gundam when Lockon
Oh,
dies.
oh no, yeah, that's one of the
Ah,
more painful
no.
deaths in Gundam. Um,
Oh, he gave three crying emojis. So sad, man.
Yeah, when
That's
oh
so
yeah,
sad.
double O lock on Stratos. Yeah, we should make if we make an episode on saddest Gundam deaths, yeah, that's one from double O has
Definitely.
a couple, but this is the saddest one.
I think
Iron
IBO
Blooded
had some
Orphans
really
has
sad
so
ones too.
many, but I'll only pick Biscuit.
Hmm.
So
Sabi ni FNC
Ah,
Mind, the one where his brother replaces him, but the original is always the
yeah.
best.
the
Oh,
convenience twin. But yeah.
oh, that's so sad.
It was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool Double O is really good though. Like looking back,
Mm-hmm.
it's a series that can stand on its own. Like if that's the first one you watch, solid. Like
Nice,
it's
nice.
kind of like a remix, kind of like a remixed version of Wing kasi you had the same like a group of Gundam pilots on a mission across the world.
Hmm.
But this one is a bit mas it's a bit better for me. Like you get to see like the political side. The politics
Yes.
of Double O is way better than Wing. Kasi Wing minsan you get either confused, bored, or bored to sleep just by when they're talking about their politics. Kasi it's not as clear. It's not as compelling as the other Gundam series. But yeah, Double is really great. That's why
Hmm. I think for me, Gundam Wing was like the Star Wars Episode One of Gundam series of Gundam. Too much
some people
political
would say
talk na it
see
gets
this
people
that, but
bored.
yeah.
Oh, by the way, FNC Mine has a question. What's better, Gundam or Code Geass?
If we're talking about a specific series, Code Geass can beat out a lot of Gundam series. It's Code
Nice.
Geass. It's is mostly one anime, one
Mm-mm.
anime with 3 seasons and pretty solid OVA.
Nice,
And
nice.
I think I would still say Gundam just because there's so many to choose from. But Code Geass
Mm.
is really really good. Like standalone, it's one of the best anime of the 2000s. I would
Mm.
argue na Code Geass was better than all of the 2000s Gundam anime. Kasi Code Geass was
true.
way more popular. Like, way more popular and was more compelling. Like, it did what a lot of Gundam series did. And did it really well. It had politics. The main character is pretty much the villain who established his own order of own world order, diba? So it was really cool. But yeah, Double O and Code Geass, yeah, those were highlights for the 2000s if we're talking about
Nice,
Gundam. But
nice.
yeah, our next thing, okay. Our next thing is since we talked about Gundam streaming on YouTube, eventually they moved to Netflix. Eventually they had Gundam shows on Netflix, not moved because they still have both of them, and that was
Yeah.
really awesome. So When Gundam was on Netflix, I was kind of surprised. Like, woo, okay, it's finally there. Um, it's not the first mecha that they had.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first ones that I saw on Netflix was Knights of Sidonia.
Knights of
Uh,
Sidonia.
Kevin, if you remember that, have you tried watching that?
Yeah, I think that's like long ago. I didn't have Netflix yet, but I watched a few episodes of Knights of Sidonia. I kind of turned off because of the animation, the CG part, but
Yeah.
it's quite good.
Mm, it's really good. It's one of those, it's actually bleak. It's actually bleak and dark. Come to think of it. But yeah, Knights of Sidonia was one of the first ones, and it was really good. Like 2 seasons, and until now we haven't had a season 3, even though the manga is already uh very much done. As in, yeah, the story has wrapped up in the manga. But yeah, um, the very first Gundam, I think, very first Gundams that were streaming there was Iron Blooded Orphans first.
I think so. Or like there was a
Oh,
movie. There was a
Yes.
movie. I think Narrative came out on Netflix first. I'm not
not
sure.
not yet. I
Yes.
think
Not yet.
not yet.
Okay.
And then
I think
eventually
Hathaway
they moved.
Flash.
Yeah, they moved. They had Hathaway's Flash, which we'll
Mm-hmm.
talk about a bit. Uh, then but first they had the compilation movies. The first three Mobile Suit Gundam movies, which was the reason why Gundam was alive to begin with, because in the series, the
Damn.
original series wasn't well received, so the movies were way better received because they were, in a way, they
Shorter.
were edited better. They were promoted way better because the original Gundam was left out to die. But
True.
yeah, and also of course the
Ah.
toys help. After that, Char's counterattack was there,
Oh my god, Char's
and
counterattack.
then
Mhm. I
Gundam
found that through our
Unicorn.
sister's Winamp.
Gundam Unicorn was there, all
Mm.
7 Gundam Unicorn episodes, and then eventually Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway, which was the adaptation of Hathaway's Flash.
Nice.
Surprising kasi Gundam rarely adapts written works, 'di ba? Kasi they make
True.
anime first and then they make manga and
Novels
books
probably.
about it
Yeah.
after.
Novels. Yes.
But yeah, Unicorn and Hathaway's Flash are different kasi they were from novels and they adapted it into really successful successful OVA and now a successful movie. I know the other two movies aren't out yet, but the first one was very well received, and God, they gave them enough production money. It was so good. Another nice mention is Thunderbolt, which was a manga
Ooh.
adaptation,
I
manga
think
to
that's like
anime,
an
which they
alternate
rarely do.
timeline, right?
Yeah, it's, as they said, it's an alternate timeline of Universal Century. As much as you'd want that in the actual Universal Century, but then their tech
True.
is so broken compared to their tech is too advanced and too
Yeah,
broken for for the original
true,
UC
true.
timeline.
Yeah, they
Like
just Mhm. Sorry, they just introduced Zeta and it was
in Thunderbolt.
they
Oh
just
my god, I should see that.
yes.
Oh no. Okay. So they're really going for the alternate timeline. I think it's the same as like the origin timeline and the advance of Zeta, which was like remakes, remasters of uh remasters of the original
Mhm.
Gundam timeline, but with better looking mobile suits.
True.
but yeah, but yeah. Oh, from the comments, what rank is Shiro Amada? I think he was ensign at the very least. Most of the Gundam pilots are
Yeah,
ensigns, or at least go
ensigns.
up to lieutenants. Or sometimes they don't even have ranks, but then ensign is always given as a default, since that's like the lowest rank you could give to like any pilot of that time in any Gundam, which is funny. Uh, who fired the shot that changed Gundam history? Now, which shot is this? Because there's the iconic final shot. There's the iconic
Bringing
Gundam
down
Wing,
Headshot.
or the comet that
Gundam Wing,
destroyed Hong Kong. I don't know.
Gundam Wing destroying everything. Um, oh yeah, Jamil mate. Oh yeah, see, Gundam X is an iconic shot because he those cannons were meant to destroy space colonies. That was insane.
Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, Netflix was so good because it's finally on a very popular mainstream platform that people across the world can access, and it makes watching Gundam so much easier because makes justifies having a Netflix subscription more because there's a lot of good anime and there's Gundam, so now I'm not letting that go. Especially that I'm waiting for that. But yeah, guys, what else do you think about Netflix streaming impact of having Netflix Gundam on Netflix? So Kevin, we'll start with you.
Sure. As someone who doesn't have Netflix yet, uh, so yeah, having Netflix is really good. It puts Gundam into more monitors, more eyes can see them, and I really wish that they will have like at least like most of the good ones, G Gundam, Victory. They have the OVAs as well. Like Stardust, the Stardust Memory, even not Gundam as well. Other Sunrise Mecha series can be. I really wish they would be on Netflix as well. Your Lasners, Dragonars, uh,
Ooh.
Bottoms. I really hope that once this Gundam or Gundam became big, they also push for those other niche titles to be available on Netflix as well.
Yan. For me, ako, nakakatulong talaga yung Netflix. Sure,
Yeah.
yan. I think it really, kasi okay, as much as I hate to say it, Gundam became a niche thing around post 2000s, medyo,
Mhm.
in a way.
Mhm.
Hindi na siya as big as it was before in like the early 2000s. Like post Seed, like a lot of people, like, after nawala siya sa ABS and GMA, for me, from my perspective, hindi na siya as big as it was before. And then ngayon naging niche popularity na lang siya. Netflix will definitely help bring a wider audience to watch Gundam. Kasi for all we know, baka manood siya ng Gundam Origin or something, or like, yung I think may compilation na movie ngayon sa Netflix showing the original MS series,
Yeah.
Amuro Rey's era. Ginawa nilang 3 movies pero they combined several episode arcs and turned it into one big movie. So, yun yung
Mhm.
maganda kasi ngayon, may Cliff Notes version ka ng Gundam. So, you understand the pain that Amurai went through, being forced to suddenly pilot this machine, losing his dad. Like, so many, tama ba? Is his dad, tama ba? Yung parang professor.
Let's just say almost every Gundam protagonist loses their mom and dad in
Mm.
various orders. I've
Okay,
seen
okay.
that happen in I think Amuro may be an exception because I think it's just his father who passed away.
Yeah, his father passed away kasi I think, diba,
But
inattack
for
yung
other
colony
Gundam
nila or something. It was
protagonists,
just
their
super.
parents die in sequences or at the same time.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Shin Asuka, we're looking at you.
Don't even get me
Oh, Shin
started on
Asuka.
Shin Asuka. My gosh.
But anyway,
Kawawang-kawawa yung batang yan. My gosh.
let's just move on that. But yeah,
Let's move on.
Netflix is such an accessible platform, and I hope I have a wish list of Gundam shows and mecha shows that I wish they could add.
Mm-mm.
One of the things they had is Gridman. They have SSSS Gridman,
Oh, the
That
anime.
yeah, the
which is
anime.
the anime adaptation of Gridman, which is I know it's was it related to Ultraman? I can't. That's one thing I can't recall.
It's not. It's basically like Matrix Ultraman, but there is Ultraman elements on it, but he's not related to Ultraman.
Okay, but yeah, it's kind of cool that they have it there because it's more mecha and more eyes. Code Geass is there, of course.
Mhm.
Code Geass season 1, season 2, and then even the Lucha of the
Akito of the
Resurrection, which
Exiled.
I haven't watched because I can't accept that
Ooh,
he's back. I can't accept
it's
that
good
he's back.
though. Watch it.
I should watch it. I should watch it soon enough. But I think it. I don't think Code Geass misses naman. Maybe Akito's Exile might be not as good as the original series, but then it's still compelling because the animation on that was so good. I remember I haven't finished it, but seeing a few bits of it, like, oh my god,
True.
this is what I wanted. The original Code Geass series to at least look like if they ever remastered
Better
something
budget.
so good. But yeah, OVAs kasi have a better budget and fewer episodes. So yeah, you can splurge out on Look at Unicorn. Look at 8MS Team.
True.
Look at Stardust Memory where all their anime those I think those are like that's the holy grail of Gundam animation. Include Thunderbolts. Those four.
True.
Those four are the best. Like Hathaway, not yet kasi binitin tayo for
Yeah,
the
true.
she and Penelope fight. I hate it, but it's fine. It's fair. Sige. You
Yeah,
just tease us, di
maglaro
ba?
ka na lang muna ng Super Robot Wars para makita mo yung fight.
Yeah, look at play Super Robot Wars. A lot of them have couple of them have Hathaway's flash on there, and a lot of them have basically if at least the original Gundam. I remember my Super Robot Wars J ata, the
Mhm.
GBA one had didn't have the only Gundam it had was Seed and G.
True, yes.
Super interesting, super interesting. I think that was my first Super Robot Wars because I was expecting that at least Amuro would usually be there. But yeah, it was so good.
Mm.
It was still good because Seed and G were fun. Tapos I didn't mind not having that many Gundam because Combat Girl V and Voltus 5 can have a combo attack.
Yes.
Tapos their
Yes.
combo
Grand
attacks are
Dasher
like vice
Sword.
versa. It's either the sword or or yung rail. The rail of yung Combat
Yes.
Girl rail attack. Which is,
Yes.
I always end with Voltus 5, but it's worth it. But yeah, so cool. Yeah, mentally, I have a mental list of wish list of Gundam shows that I wish we could have on Netflix. Macross sana, but Harmony Gold
Yes.
sucks. Harmony Gold sucks.
Yeah,
Like
true.
they,
But they have, I think they
Mhm.
agreed for distribution. I think that's the latest. But I think what Har wants is put them all on the Robotech name. So Robotech
ah,
Delta, Robotech 7, or something like that. Robotech
so
Frontier.
if they're just gonna change the title, sure, okay, diba? That's fine. But
Mhm.
if it's only Robotech, we're gonna punch a few people and walls after that. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be awful.
True.
One thing I wish they bring back, they removed Knights of Sidonia on Netflix.
Yeah.
I was
I
looking
haven't
for it
finished that.
I was looking for it a few weeks ago. Like I wanna watch Knights of Sidonia because I miss it. And I was on an Attack on Titan binge. So I was looking for shows where characters die a lot and it's
Dial.
like last hope for humanity kind of thing. So ayun. Knights of
Let's
Sidonia
see
was
Dion then.
I should try. But yeah, there were so many. Looking at let's before while we wait for Steven, let's look at some comments. I'm checking
Mhm.
out some stuff. Oh, someone agreed that about our take on Gundam Double O. Yeah, Gundam Double O is really great. If that's your first series, that's a great entry point because it introduces you to a lot of all of the relevant Gundam plot points and tropes na you need to know.
Yep.
Whether it be politics or the classic character structure. But yeah, hi Steven. Let's go.
Eh,
Now, so I guess that's it for our Gundam streaming section. Because that's it. Netflix has made Gundam mainstream and Gundam on YouTube is gonna be a thing soon. Gonna
mhm.
be even more of a thing soon.
Yeah.
Gundam is on the US is on Hulu. So that's really great. And eventually we'll have a bit more. But yeah, we'll have movies soon. We'll have two more
Nice. It's been a while.
Hathaway movies kasi they're gonna finish the story arc. But I already know what happened. I guess Kevin, you know what
True.
happens to Hathaway, so we don't want to
True.
talk about
Yes.
that. But yeah, um, for those who read the novel, yeah, it's worth crying over. Maybe I don't like Hathaway though. I'm not a fan of Hathaway because I saw what he did in Shar's counterattack. It was annoying. But anyway, Gundam in 2022 though. There's gonna be a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
There's gonna be a lot of
Yes.
stuff happening. Okay, first off, there's a movie called Gundam Kukuro's Doan's Island, which is a movie remake of episodes
Episode.
14 and 15 of Gundam, of the original Mobile Suit
Yes.
Gundam.
Yeah.
So basically, this is the closest thing we'll ever have to a full Mobile Suit Gundam remake.
Hmm.
Uh,
So they're gonna remaster everything. I mean, Origin counts pala in a way as a remake ish alternate universe thing. But yeah, Kukuro's Doan's Island is basically like a return for a lot of the original Gundam cast, the voice cast. Like
yes.
Toru Furuya might be his last role, last time he'll play as Amuro Ray, especially the 15-year-old Amuro Ray. So that's gonna be really sad. But what a way for him to end his Gundam career, by going full circle in the 40th anniversary celebration. I think 40, 50, but yeah, it's gonna be really cool. Next is Witch from Mercury, which we don't have info apart from the title. They confirmed that all they did was they said na this is the title of the anime, this is the release.
Nice.
On
Have they?
October.
Ambiscentry.
That's gonna be cool.
Hmm.
Is it gonna be like a new timeline, or is it Universal
I,
Century?
I think they're branding it as a new timeline. Um
Mm.
Interesting that the title is Witch from Mercury. I would think na we haven't had a Gundam with a female protagonist ever.
Yeah,
Oh,
true.
no, actually.
Christina
Yeah.
Mackenzie doesn't count. I'm sorry. Even though people, as much as people would want it to count, even me before wanted to make it count, it doesn't count. But yun, it would be cool. If this is a Gundam, they said it's a Gundam for a younger audience. I wouldn't mind the man. Like, Build Fighters is there. That's already for a younger
That's
audience.
true. I
And
don't think they're
NSD
gonna go
Gundam
that young.
Force.
no, diba? And SD Gundam Force. People should. I don't think it's worth complaining about. All I care about is there's a new Gundam series and they're experimenting again, a new timeline.
Hmm.
That's all I care about. They're trying something new. Kasi for me, Gundam is good when they try something new. Like finally they went to UC 100, diba? They
Yeah.
finally went beyond. They tried Hathaway. I hope they try and revive Victory, 'di ba? Victory is kasi depression
Yeah.
in anime form.
Uh,
But yun,
Victory.
which for Mercury is the next major series that they're hyping up, but there's still no info. But I think we'll get it in the next few months by June, maybe by
Hmm.
I forgot what anime events or what Gundam events they have in the next few months. Like I know
There
there's
has
like
to
a
be a
hobby
convention, right?
convention in Japan where they release a
Can they
lot of
still
the
have conventions right now? I mean, Japan's like COVID handling is really weird. Like one day people will say, "Oh, it's really good," and then another day it's like, "Oh no, we gotta restrict again." It's
yeah,
weird.
but I think it's gonna be back the man whether it be
Hopefully, yeah.
on online or physical. But yeah,
Hmm.
gonna be cool though. But yeah, apart from that, there's the Iron Blooded Orphan special, which is like a compilation set of
Hmm.
movies for Iron Blooded Orphans. They even
Yeah.
got a new opening from Man with a Mission, so that was
Oh
kind of cool.
yes.
Ah, nice.
They got a special opening, and yeah, Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans openings. Side note, they're really great. They're some of
Nice.
the best. Like all of the Gundam animes that have 4 Gundam openings are really good. That includes Age. Yes, Age openings were good. So Gundam Seed and Seed Destiny, of course.
Oh yeah, my gosh.
Yeah.
Maybe Wings of Words may not be my cup of tea, but it's still good. Um, Gundam in 2020. Oh, I saw this kanina lang. Gundam Seed HD Remaster Blu-ray, which is I think they
Wow.
released this na before,
Mm.
or they haven't. They've only streamed the remaster of Seed and Seed Destiny, but the Blu-ray box is expensive, 44,000 yen.
Oh, that's like
22,000
22,000
pesos. My gosh.
It's
pesos.
like, yeah, that's
Grabe.
20k. If we're gonna have our usual patong price, that's like 22 to 25k, which is
Yeah.
fair naman, fair enough.
Grabe.
But damn. Okay.
Oh,
What's included? There's a 204-page archive booklet.
wow.
Okay.
There's a 36-page special booklet,
Bakit
and
special? How is it special?
um
Th-
not sure
Is
about
it
that, but yeah,
gonna teach us how to pilot a Gundam or make one?
probably a piloting manual, hopefully. There's also a 60-page illustration book, Gundam Seed
Ooh,
illustration book. That's
pretty.
that's awesome
Ooh.
already.
Mm.
Audio commentary, which is kind of interesting. I mean, it's in Japanese, but then that's cool. Always cool to have audio commentary. Gives extra perspective from the creators themselves. From Fukuda. Yeah. And there's also a special talk video featuring Mitsuo Fukuda and TM Revolution,
Oh,
Takanori Nishikawa, so the
nice.
vocalist,
Ooh.
Nice,
which
nice.
was, Miguel Ayman and Heine Westeflas in the anime. And he only lasted for like, what, 2 episodes
If you see
each?
TM Revolution in real life, you'll be surprised that he's 50 something.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, they're
true.
veterans of the industry and they're really cool.
Yeah.
And there's also newly recorded audio commentary for certain episodes.
Oh, I love
And
audio
there's
commentary.
and there's newly drawn color paper illustrations.
Ooh.
So that's really cool. So it's
Okay.
a very complete
Okay.
set. You're buying
That kind
three
of
books
explains
with
the
it.
price.
It justifies the price.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
God, the best thing is also you're watching Gundam Seed on 4K.
True.
Oh,
Blu-ray
pretty.
Jesus
quality at
Yamato in
least.
4K.
Diba? You get to see all of that. Seed is good pa rin. What I wouldn't vouch for is Seed Destiny. It's the only series I would consider to be really bad. Yes, Build Divers isn't as bad as Seed Destiny for me. Like at least Build Divers was at least had a comprehensible plot na proper, diba? It was proper. Re-Rise was good. Re-Rise had this arc. Did you watch Re-Rise?
Oh
no,
no,
yeah.
we lost
But
Kevin.
but we did watch, diba, Steve? And we did our Re-Rise review back in 2020,
Yeah.
and
It
we said
wasn't that
that.
bad. It
Yeah,
wasn't
and
that
then
bad.
there was a story arc that had no right being really great and really
Yeah.
emotional for a Gundam series that's about an MMO game.
Like,
But
it's
yeah,
weird because
Kevin is
like,
back.
how
Okay.
did that happen, diba?
Yeah. Ooh, Kevin, are you there?
Yes, yes, I
Yun,
am. Can you
alright.
hear me?
Were you able to watch
All good, yeah.
Build Diverse Re-Rise?
Yes, of course. That's every week. Even
Yeah,
though
I
I
remember.
didn't like the combination at the last episode, but
But
it's
yeah,
fun.
the arc where they had the rescue arc they had was actually really good because oh my god, they had to prevent someone from actually dying. So that was cool, diba? You
True.
forget that it's a kids anime and they kind of went back to old school Gundam where I don't know, if you don't do this someone will die and usually someone does, but not this time. But yeah, it's really cool. Next one is they have a video game. There's an FPS game, Gundam
Hmm.
Evolution. It's
Yeah.
weird because
Gundam Overwatch.
yeah, Gundam Overwatch essentially. That's how it plays from how it looks. Because you pick characters as mobile suits as characters. And it's weird. I would try it since I play FPS games, but I'm not expecting this to be something that would set the world on fire.
Hmm.
If this plays well, at least, I think it would be okay. But I'm not sure how people are receiving it well now.
Yeah.
initial. Kasi it's an FPS game. You rather have a third
Yeah.
person Gundam game na hack and slash, or at least something like Gundam Breaker 3 again. New
What was that
Gundam
game we
Breaker
played
was
before, Jude?
disappointing. What?
There was this Gundam
Yung-
game before, diba? Sa PS4, it was free.
Oh, Gundam Battle
Um,
Operation was good. People like
yes, that
that.
But
one. Yeah.
The problem lang is, yeah, it's ultra competitive. Like, if you're a newbie, you're gonna get destroyed by veteran pilots
immediately.
who have like the 5-star RX-78,
Ooh.
or the full armor double Zeta. So like,
Gets,
oh,
gets.
okay,
Ooh.
bye. You're gonna get destroyed again. But it's pretty good. That's why it always has a consistent audience. But yeah, apart from that, lastly, Gundam Park Fukuoka. So that's
Ooh.
Mark?
happening. April 25.
Oh, if only Japan could open already and like get their shit together.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Please.
they have a lot of they haven't really released that much info.
Mm-hmm.
There's special Gundam Park Fukuoka RX-93 new Gundam kits. There's an SD, there's an SD RG and HG version of it. Entry grade RG
Ooh.
and BB Senshi. Okay, that's really cool. So this is there's a lot of activities. There's a versus park. Yeah, this is all concept so far, but
Yeah.
that's the reason they have this new Gundam that they put. So
Ooh, a
it's really
Gundam cafe.
cool. Yeah, oh god. I hope they
Oh,
have a cafe again.
there's a Gundam cafe called Side F, I think. Oh wait, hold on. Let
Yeah,
me check
side
here.
F. Oh, they're bringing back the cafe thing.
Yeah,
So
they
that's really cool.
are.
It's good. It's something that at
Nice.
least once Japan gets their stuff together, it's
Yeah.
worth visiting, and something more for Gundam fans, especially this year. There's so many good things in Gundam.
Yeah.
Thunderbolt hasn't finished yet, the manga, and
Yes,
that
it's
one
not.
is a crazy ass ride. It's insane.
Yes.
I don't
They
get what's
just they
happening
just introduced
most of the
Zeta
time.
on the manga. So,
See,
ooh.
that's how far they're going. Kasi you thought na it's just diba? It's just 1 year war. And now
Yes.
they've went beyond Stardust Memory. they went Zeta. So like, what are you doing? Is the time wait, if they introduce Zeta, does that mean they're in like UC 86 as well?
That's probably only saw the scans. They don't have it translated yet. But yeah, I think some of the fans are already thinking that there will be a time skip.
Oh god, it's the craziest. For me, it's the craziest Gundam work ever, and
See what happens
I
when you
saw
fill
the
your timeline too much.
I saw the scan. I saw the Wave Rider Zeta scan. Oh no, yeah, okay, okay, I'm done. I have to read this now. This is beautiful. I have the first 4 volumes of Thunderbolt.
Nice.
But then I need to buy the next translated volumes soon. But then really cool. Gundam is very accessible now. You can watch it almost everywhere officially, and happy that Sunrise decided that it's a great move. It's a move that they should take to
True.
modernize, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Toei, take
their
note.
model kits are similar. Yeah,
Toy.
everyone,
Oh,
every other
Every
broadcasting
other
network
company is
in
doing it
Japan,
now.
take
TV
note,
Asahi,
because
we're looking at you.
this is how you revive. This is how you keep your franchises alive and keep people interested or curious, at the very least curious about it. Because look, when Gundam put their stuff on YouTube, look, people bought more kits.
Hmm.
Now there's enough money to make Universal Century stuff. There's enough money to make new series. There's enough money for everything they can do. They
Hmm.
even they're now even making a Gundam Park. I don't. I think if it weren't for making Gundam more accessible to everyone, I don't think this would happen. But so this is really
I like. Mm-mm. Speaking of the Gundam Park, I'm really hoping na yung nabasa ko kanina is not just a you know that scene sa Build Divers, meron yung scene na they're just building kits. Na they're gonna have a little section in the Gundam Park where you do that because you know what's missing there? A Gundam Cafe. I really hope they bring back the Gundam Cafe after it started closing in January. So hopefully they come back.
But yeah, will be
Yeah.
really that'll be really cool. But yeah, that's our episode. That's episode 110. But before we go, Kevin, since you have a podcast, I guess it's worth you do the honors of plugging this awesome
Sure.
podcast.
Yun. You could always follow Elitistang Vivo Podcast. Available kami sa Spotify or kung saan man kayo nakikinig ng podcast.
Mhm.
This March is a team month, another team month. I called it Mex Mads. So last
Oh,
week, I already rammed about Mazinger Z and my love for Mazinger Z. This episode I'll be recording later will be me talking about Macross, the original Macross. Hindi ko pa alam kung ano
let's
yung
go.
susunod na 2 episodes, but it would be mech related and maybe I'll do something niche or maybe Gundam. What Gundam?
Nice.
So yun. And yeah, you could also follow me. My personal Twitter, Instagram is at elitistangkebs. And you could always follow the podcast on Facebook, facebook.com/elitistangwebpod.
Nice.
That's it.
But yun, awesome. Okay, now for our end. Now you can listen to the audio version of this episode on the Geeky Ones on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other podcast platforms na you can check out.
That's right.
Almost all of them are free. You can
Mhm.
download. You can download, listen to anywhere you want, and yeah. Um, for the socials, at the Geeky Ones on Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, uh,
Twitter and
and YouTube
YouTube.
and Twitter. So
Yes.
at the Geeky Ones, TheGeekyJuans. And for our website, thegeekyones.com. Stay tuned because I'll be talking about front mission and best games. If while you're waiting for front mission, I'll be posting about the best games that you can play that are similar to front mission while you're waiting because
Ooh.
there's so
Excellent.
many front mission like games there.
Another century ace or another century.
Mm-hmm. So many
Wow.
stuff. But yeah, and I guess and then our individual accounts. So Steven, your socials there.
All right. I am at Stevie said yup. That's STEVIESAIDYUP. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, where I just rant about hockey because hockey trade deadline season is coming. So we're gonna have fun. Yeah, it's gonna be madness because I might be awake at 12 midnight. Who knows? I hope not. But yeah, follow me for hockey rants and video game highlights. That's it.
Let's go. Okay. For me, it's Do This Jude on Facebook, and I stream. I've been streaming Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel for the past 2 weeks, and I'll be taking a break because work is gonna be hitting hard again in
Mhm.
the next two
Ooh.
weeks. So, but yeah, it was awesome though to stream Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel. I was able to reach platinum. I was able to grind out platinum. It was painful though.
Congrats.
Playing platinum is painful because you get so many skilled platinum players, and I think I've been facing a couple of awesome Japanese players as well. So they were
Ayun
really
na.
good at their deck building skills are so top notch. And yeah, after maybe in a few weeks, I think I'll continue streaming Master Duel. This will be my main stream game. It's really fun,
Mhm.
and there's an upcoming event soon, which I hope would be still around when I can still stream it. So that's gonna be really fun. But yeah, this has been the episode 110 of the Geeky Ones. And once again, thank you for those who are watching, and for those who are gonna listen to the audio version, thank you so much. And
Thank you.
for
Thank
those who are commenting, awesome as well. Really cool. Really cool. Help.
you. Really
Sorry, I
appreciate
wasn't
it.
able to answer some of the trivia questions. I'll be coming back to that maybe. But yeah, um,
Yes.
thank you so much for listening and watching, and we'll see you next episode. And that's it. So goodbye.
Bye.